the leading senior insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and income potential. Visit asbmidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for
By Air Fence at 93.7 and theticket.com.
Good afternoon. Happy Monday. I can't tell if my headphones are too soft, too loud. What's going on over here? Happy Monday.
Yes.
It's the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Enrique Alvarez Clary hanging out with you guys. Rico, hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going fantastic.
Good.
Although I have to wait another night before I watch The Last of Us, and I'm very sad.
Why do you have to wait?
Shout out to Don, who is allowing me to borrow his HBO. But the way that it works out is I have a session for however long, and it timed out. And he was busy last night, so I couldn't watch it. I was very sad. So when I get home,
That's nice of Don, though.
Gonna log back in and watch it tonight.
Nice of Don.
Yeah, shout out to Don.
Shout out to Don.
Don's a real one.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Sutter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys. The rest of the show here, got a full show ahead. Plenty to talk about. Nebraska football received a commitment from an Iowa football legacy.
His dad is in the Iowa Athletics Hall of Fame.
Yes, and if you look at the commitment pictures, his dad does not look happy to be at Memorial Stadium.
Obviously, his dad is happy that his son is going to get a higher education and going to play football to continue playing. But it's just funny because his dad's just like, you just had to go to Nebraska.
Yeah, exactly. Chase B says, take that, Iowa. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so we were talking about, we have a little bit of Husker basketball breaking news that we'll get to in a moment that Nebraska just released. But first, let's get to a phone call. We have Bev on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. We were talking about free throw percentage. Once again, Nebraska ranks in the 335th out of 352 teams when it comes to free throw percentage.
That's pretty low.
We had unfortunately had to end the water cooler before we got to the happy hour, and Bev wanted to make a comment. So Bev, thanks for being patient during that commercial break. What's on your mind?
Well, the free throws they missed on Saturday, 2 of them were from the freshmen, but they've hardly played at all this year. They missed 9 free throws. And I think we're really missing Jawan Gary.
Yeah.
I mean, because he was a scorer. He was so good on defense. And Nebraska, I think, we have the second toughest schedule of all the basketball teams. And so I just, and we've only got 15 home games. So I just think there's a lot, Trevor's got to take a lot into consideration. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we've lost the other guy.
Bandamel.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to make a comment. But yeah, I've screamed at the TV when we missed free throws.
You and me both, Bev. And me both.
I think all of us are in that conversation or in that camp there. Thanks, Bev, for the phone call. We really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. I mean, to Bev's point, absolutely right. I mean, it's frustrating. Yes, the freshmen. Now, I will say, to a certain extent, you could say that Denon Dawson is a bright spot, not maybe in this season, but in this program. Mm-hmm. When you look at Husker men's basketball, you still have Ramel Lloyd Jr., who's redshirting this year. Mm-hmm. Coron McPherson is redshirting because of an injury, I believe.
Yes, he got hurt before the season.
So like you have bright spots, and
Jamarcus Lawrence has been showing, bright instances also.
Flashes in a pan. So
I forgot the word flashes. I don't know why.
Yeah. With that being said, unfortunately, this was just released. Rico, if we could play I
don't want to play it.
If we could play the breaking news sounder, please.
Breaking news. Here we go.
I need to find. Here we go. We get this announcement from Nebraska men's basketball. Emmanuel Bandamel to miss remainder of 2022-2023 season.
That music seemed way too happy.
Way too happy for
Way
it.
too happy for that.
Nebraska men's basketball coach Fred Hoiberg announced Monday afternoon that senior guard Emmanuel Bandamel will miss the remainder of the season after suffering a knee injury in Saturday's game at Penn State. Bandamel, a 6'4" guard from Quebec City, Quebec, suffered the injury in the first half. He will undergo surgery in the coming weeks, ending his collegiate career. Quote, I am heartbroken for Emmanuel to have his college career end this way, Hoiberg said. I've said all season that Emmanuel is one of the best defenders in the country, and he impacts the game in so many ways beyond the measurables. He is also one of the best culture guys I've had the pleasure to coach. He always comes into the gym with a positive attitude and will do anything for the team. While he can't help us on the court, I know Emmanuel will continue to be a leader for us and help our younger guys. He started all 20 games for the Huskers this season, averaging 8.4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal per game. At the time of his injury, he was the only player to start all 20 games for the Huskers and has helped Nebraska rank in the top 35 nationally in defensive efficiency. He was second on the team in minutes per game, averaging over 31 minutes per contest, and ranked third on the team in both assists and steals. He totaled 9 double-figure games this season, including 18 points apiece against Memphis and Omaha. So there you go.
Just a rough blow when it seemed as if this season, I know, record-wise, it still didn't look great, but it seemed as if this season was going to be better than the previous seasons, obviously, when you're tying your win total from last season about 2 months earlier than you had last season. It seems as if Nebraska was on a better path for this men's basketball season. Then you lose Juwan Gary. You think, okay, that's a big loss, but you still have a chance to have a successful season. And I'm not saying that this ends the chance for a successful season, but this puts a severe damper on it when you lose Emmanuel Bandamel for the season. And that just sucks that his college career is going to end with him getting injured at Penn State and missing the remaining however many games of his collegiate career.
So, unfortunately, I mean, that's a huge loss for Nebraska going forward. Here in consecutive weeks now, Nebraska loses, because it was just the Illinois game that they lost Juwan Gary. Mm-hmm. And in consecutive weeks, Nebraska will lose a starter for the remainder of the season.
Your 2 best defenders also.
Yeah, up
yes.
there.
Yes.
I'm putting Sam Griesel in that category as well. Sam Griesel had 5 steals on Saturday against Penn State. I think he's one. I would also.
Juwan Gary had like 4 in one game.
Well, either way,
those are your 2 best defenders. Sam's third.
Yeah, I think you're grasping at straws.
I'm not.
But either way,
who got black shirts?
The 2 people that have season-ending injuries.
Sam didn't get a black shirt.
Is that
therefore not? Oh,
is that?
Wait a minute.
Oh, Rico, you may have just realized.
Oh,
you just may have made a revelation.
Oh no! No more basketball black
no
shirts.
more basketball black shirts.
Mm.
Not saying they're bad luck. Not saying black shirts are bad luck.
Maybe for basketball.
But maybe for basketball. So, no, I mean, but it's a big blow for Nebraska. I read off the statistics once again. Averaged 8.4 points at the time of his injury through the 20 games of the season, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal per game.
Those are good. Those are really good numbers. I did not realize that those were his numbers.
At the time of his injury, he was the only player to start all 20 games for the Nebraska Cornhuskers and helped Nebraska rank in the top 35th nationally in defensive efficiency. Get this. Bandamel had started 84 consecutive games dating back to his first season at SMU.
Wow. In
his Division I career, he played in 100 games and totaled 880 points. He began his collegiate career at Hill College in 2018. So he's been in college playing for a while. So yeah, it
exactly 100 games and 800 some points.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So once again, Nebraska's game against Northwestern, originally scheduled for Tuesday, has been moved to Wednesday. The Northwestern had only 6 available players in their program for a while to play, and they're not going to play a game due to COVID. Mm-hmm. So they had to postpone their game that was originally scheduled for this weekend against Wisconsin. They had to move that to tonight, and you're not going to force Northwestern to play a back-to-back game and especially when travel's involved.
Mhm.
So they postponed it to Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 2. The Huskers are 10-10 on the year, still 500, and they got a big one against Northwestern. It'll be interesting to see. I would expect, starting 5. Now, here's the question. Blaze Keita was unavailable on Saturday, still with that ankle injury. Now the conversation becomes like, look, I wonder what the starting 5 looks like, because here's the deal: is if Blaze is available to go,
do you insert him in the starting lineup?
No, it's not. Do you insert Blaze? It's, do you insert Wilhelm into the starting lineup and have Wilhelm and Denham Dawson? Or do you put Denham Dawson and CJ Wilcher?
I'd say, do you put CJ back in there? Do you leave Casey as a starter?
There's a lot of options, and I guess we'll get the answers on Wednesday.
Are you going to go small ball? Do you want to put Wilhelm into the starting lineup at the 5 and put Derek at the 4? Go more of a traditional kind of lineup when you're going height wise. Like, there's a lot of different options that Nebraska can go with, but I'm not sure what would work the best, who you want to have, who's your first man off the bench. Do you want it to be CJ? Do you want it to be Casey? Do you want it to be Wilhelm? You have Jamarcus, you have Denham, you've got options, but it's going to be, this is truly, after we said with Juwan Gary going down how it was all hands on deck, this is truly all hands on deck for Nebraska men's basketball right now.
Yeah, it's absolutely devastating, and it's disappointing for a guy like Emmanuel Bandamel as well. So once again, if you're just now turning the dial, tuning into us, Fred Hoiberg announced that Emmanuel Bandamel will miss the remainder of the season after suffering a knee injury in Saturday's game at Penn State. And so now Nebraska is without 2 of their original 5 starters, Juwan Gary and Emmanuel Bandamel, who will go undergo, both of them, season-ending injury here in the next couple days and weeks. So let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. There's a lot of recruiting news going on in Husker football. We'll obviously ask him about Emmanuel Bandamel since he covers Husker hoops as well. We'll talk to Strick during the crossover because no better guys to talk to when it comes to Husker athletics than the Husker Hall of Famer himself, Eric Strickland. But when we come back, we'll be joined by Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Talk hoops, talk football recruiting, and much more coming up next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at GoAC. The Hour is next on 90.7 and the TIM.com.
Let me share something to make life just a little easier. It's just one word, Bryant. If we need service on our furnace or AC, we call Bryant. Same thing goes for an electrical issue. If I have a problem with my faucet, a toilet, a drain, or a water heater, I don't need to know how to fix something. I just need to know who to call. And at our house, it's Bryant.
Bryant's Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. Just one call. 467-1111. Remember, we do whatever it takes.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. It's 402-480-2840.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Area fog this morning, then a mix of sun and clouds this afternoon, as we'll see a high of around 35. Winds out of the west-northwest at 10 to 15. Patchy areas of fog again, a low down to 22. We'll see partly cloudy skies tomorrow with a high of around 33. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
James Enterprise Incorporated, that company that hauls your gravel, rocks, and material for your farm or construction site, says thank you to the people of the healthcare community for putting yourself in the way of danger to save the public. That is what it means to be a hero and to build a beautiful legacy. This message by James Enterprise Incorporated. For all your hauling of rock, gravel, and materials, call them at 402-432-6740. That's 402-432-6740.
There's
nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website, cpmercado.com, to see current deals.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and I'm back with Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, you said to me earlier you have a lot going on at the dealership. Can you tell our listeners about it?
Sure can, Charlie. As I've said before, if you don't see a vehicle on our lot that you're looking for, it's on its way.
So, how many new Hondas do you have in stock or on the way?
We have a total of over 325, Charlie, with a great selection of Pilots and Ridgelines in stock right now.
Well, we have been talking about the Honda Link way of buying cars for several months. How is that going?
People love it. We're buying all makes and models, whether they purchase the car from us or not. I mean, really, it's a no hassle, and we will pay them cash on the same day.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln. At Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high-quality bays that track ball speed, launch angle, club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate gameplay. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at Beatrice.com. Welcome to our Yum.
What are you doing, Sid? I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion-censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Ow! God!
Ow! Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be a sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soups, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Oh my gosh, I'm obese.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
Rico's time is now.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico hanging out with you guys per usual. 464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Sartor Heyman text line, both those options open for you guys, as well as the Sartor Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Now we go and we bring in our good friend, Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska, the rival site covering the Huskers, to talk a little hoops and football as well, per usual. Steve, what's up, man?
Hello, Nick. Hello, Rico. Doing wonderful on this fine afternoon we have.
Steve, it was just announced about 15 minutes ago or so that Nebraska men's basketball will be without fifth-year senior Emmanuel Bandamel the rest of the season here. I mean, this is a pretty big blow to Nebraska. I mean, where does Nebraska go from here?
Yeah, you're right. It's absolutely just a gut punch. I mean, Emmanuel, aside from being a really good basketball player, he's a heck of a human being too. It just sucks with this part of sports and basketball, and injuries happen and everything. But when it comes with comes against a guy like Emmanuel, who's a really good dude off the court, and is one of the best defenders that the team has, especially on the perimeter, and kind of guarding the opposing team's 3-point shooters, and it sucks. It's a major blow for the Nebraska basketball team, and it just kind of puts the focus on the young guys again: Denham Dawson, Jamarcus Russell, or not Russell, Marcus Lawrence, CJ Wilcher, Casey Tominaga. All those guys are going to have to step up like they've been doing or trying to do recently. But it's just a brutal loss, losing Emmanuel Vanderbilt.
We were talking about how after Juwan Gary's injury, it was all hands on deck, but this is 100% most certainly an all hands on deck situation with the loss of Emmanuel Bandamel as well. But me and Nick were just wondering, what does the starting lineup for Nebraska basketball look like when they go up against Northwestern?
Great question. I'll have Sam Greasel out there. You'll have Denham Dawson out there. You'll have Garrick Walker out there, Casey Tominaga, and then I just assume that maybe CJ Wilcher will slide right back into the starting lineup, just to get another guard out there, somebody who can move well. Now CJ is not the defender, even close to the defender that Emmanuel Bandamel is, but I guess I'd have to throw CJ Wilcher back in there. I know they're trying to find a little something to try to get him going by getting him off the bench and during the games. And against Penn State, he had 11 points. He hit 3 threes. But again, he's not even close to the defender that Emmanuel Bandamel is. And for Nebraska to win games, they're not going to outscore anybody, but what they can do is defend and do little things and, grind their way to a win. Not pretty. It's never going to be pretty, but they give themselves a chance when they be up and maybe slow down the game, and they can do good things that way, I think. So if I had to guess, I'd say CJ Wilcher will be back into the starting lineup.
We're joined by Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. And Steve, last basketball one before we get to football, but Nebraska's sitting at 10-10 right now, and they've matched their season win total from last year. But once again, this is going to be another year under Fred Hoiberg's belt, where now without 2 of your starters, it feels like, and we hope to be proven wrong, I suppose, but it feels like postseason potential is a very slim chance. I mean, what is Trev Alberts going to have to kind of look at? You have a team that's 335th in the country in free throw percentage that once again, hasn't played in postseason basketball in 4 years. If they don't make an NIT this year, I mean, how bleak does the future look?
That's a great question, and I just go back to it really sucks for Fred Hoiberg because Juwan Gary and Emmanuel Bandamel were so incredibly important to their team this season, for their identity, for their they take defense seriously. They're guys that are leaders in that program. They do the little things. I don't think that they're too worried about who is getting the spotlight, who is getting all the buckets, who's scoring the points. I don't think that Emmanuel Bandamel and Juwan Gary really care about that stuff. I think they care about being veteran leaders and showing young guys the way and just trying to pick up wins. And without those 2 out there, they're a completely different team. Nebraska is. Nebraska has to work even harder now. I mean, they had to work hard with Emmanuel and Juwan out there before, but with them not out there, you just have to try to scrap together whatever you can. And so it's really hard to judge when you're looking at this team and you're putting yourself in Trev Albert's shoes and asking yourself, what do I need to do with Fred Hoiberg? But I think Fred has the right idea with this team and who he brought in and what he wanted this team to be about. It wasn't about trying to outscore different teams. It wasn't about trying to bring in a 4 or 5-star scorer and have him leave after one season. It was about playing team basketball and focusing on defense and winning ugly ways. I just think that, people around here, Husker fans, really enjoyed that about this team. It can be frustrating as heck to watch most times because they really struggle to score the ball. But when you had Juwan Gary out there, and you had Emmanuel Bandamel with Sam Griesel and a guy like Derek Walker, it was something to root for because they played. I feel like they're playing the right way. They care about team basketball, and it's not flash and dash and all that stuff. It's hunker down on defense, dive after a loose ball, scrape up your elbows while doing so. It's that type of stuff that I think fans around here really appreciate. And Fred had that, but now he doesn't with Juwan Gary out and now Emmanuel Bandamel. So to tell you the truth, I don't know what to do. I think if you're Trev Alberts, you really like the vision that Fred Hoiberg had for this team. But man, it's just really tough luck when Juwan Gary and Emmanuel Bandamel aren't out there.
One final basketball question, actually, and this one comes from our text line from Matt. If Griesel, when he has to sit on the bench for a little bit, he has to get his rest, who's going to be running the point? Are we going to be seeing, more Derek Walker point center? But if he's on the bench as well, do you have Casey running point? Are you relying on Denham Dawson or Jamarcus Lawrence to run the point? Who's going to handle, bringing the ball up and getting everybody in their spots offensively? Because Emmanuel Bandamel was one of those players that would do that from time to time.
Yeah, he was. And so without him out there, I think it would, if it were me, I'd like to see a mix of Derek Walker and I guess Jamarcus Russell. I mean, that's asking a lot for a true freshman who, by the way, really needs to hit his free throws. Oh, you can't go 0 for 5. You're a Division I guard and you go 0 for 5 at the free throw line against Penn State. I just wanted to get that out there. But anyway, I think that a nice mix with Derek Walker, who has done some good things, is kind of like a point forward role as kind of a big who has some passing skill. That would be good. But I think Jamarcus Lawrence needs to maybe step up in that arena now and handle the ball more. Now, again, that's, like I said, it's asking a lot, but what else are they going to do, right? I mean, they have who they have right now on the roster. So I would guess, I'd like to see a little bit more of a mix with Derek Walker and then Jamarcus Lawrence.
Steve, let's make the transition to football here. We're talking to Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska here on the Happy Hour. And you wrote an article, I believe yesterday, about Jason Machichek. And there was a lot of just assumption that the South Dakota native was going to come in, transfer to Nebraska, and help out on that offensive line. But it doesn't sound like that.
Yeah, Jason Machichek. He's a really good kid from Pierce, South Dakota, TF Riggs High School. Big guy, 6'3", 320 pounds. But if you look at him, you would not guess that he's 320 pounds. And if you watch his huddle, he's got some excellent offensive line tape as an offensive guard. He started at for both sides of line of scrimmage for TF Riggs High School up there. But yeah, he initially thought that his future was going to start out on the offensive line at Nebraska. He had a really good relationship with Donovan Raiola, and things didn't work out a couple of summers ago with an offer, but Nebraska came in late. Omar Hales gave him a call one December weekend and gave him the offer, and then bada bing, bada boom, he's here with his official visit this past weekend in Lincoln. But apparently, they are telling him, Jason, that they see him as kind of a better fit on the defensive line as kind of an interior lineman, and that was kind of a surprise for me. But if you ask Jason, he's willing to do whatever it takes to get on the field. He's wanting to do whatever the coaches say because he wants to play football, and I think he could be a good asset to have as kind of a really strong Midwestern dude who maybe could excel as an interior defensive lineman at 6'3", 320 pounds. And, if you look at Nebraska's roster right now, they need bodies there on the interior. You'd like to have some experienced bodies from the transfer portal, but, if it's not coming, you might as well maybe move a guy like Jason Machichek, who's planning to start his career on the offensive line over to defense and see if he picks it up right there. So, I was a little bit surprised that if you ask Jason, he's all for it. He's ready to go.
Steve, Nebraska received a commitment today, and I don't want to butcher this name. Is it Ismail or Ishmael?
I don't know for sure, but I was always going Ishmael.
Okay, so Ishmael Smith Flores, a tight end, a 6'6", 210, I believe is what I read. Smith Flores, who's actually an Iowa legacy. His dad is in the Iowa Hall of Fame for athletics. I believe he played defensive line for Iowa back in the late 80s.
Single season Big Ten sack record holder.
There it is. Now what's interesting, he's from Arlington Martin High School, and Husker fans might recognize that name because that's where current Nebraska tight ends coach Bob Wager coached for 17 years, I believe. Is this, I hate to say this, is this more of a relationship type of recruit where it's, hey, I know exactly what I'm getting out of this prospect if I'm Bob Wager, or is it a guy that we could see make a pretty quick impact at Nebraska?
Yeah, so initially it might look like on paper it's like, okay, he played at Arlington Martin. That's Bob Wager's old school. It's a relationship thing. But if you dig in a little bit deeper and you turn on the highlights of Ishmael Smith Flores, you see a big athlete who can run, who's got great hands, 6'6", 210 pounds, like you said, Nick. And look, I mean, Iowa really wanted him, and Iowa has a really great history of identifying talent at tight end, developing it, and sending those guys into the NFL. If Iowa wanted this kid, I think it's a really good pickup for Nebraska that they were able to snag him away, because not only did his dad go to Iowa and is in the Iowa Football Hall of Fame, his godfather was also a member of the Iowa football team back in the day, and he's third all time in Iowa's receiving list. So it hurts the Hawkeyes even more that there was such a Hawkeye connection with Smith Flores, but he's going the other way across the river and going to Nebraska. So no, I get the connections with the family bloodlines with the Hawkeyes and everything. But if you turn on the tape with Ishmael Smith Flores, I really like his length. He's super long at 6'6", and he can run. He's got good hands. I mean, I think this is a potential steal for the Huskers, and credit to Bob Wager. He knows football, and he's got two of them. We might be hearing another Arlington Martin Warrior later in the day or this week, and Jeremiah. What's his name? Jeremiah something. But yeah, I really like Ishmael Smith Flores for what he brings. Big, long, rangy athlete that could play a little tight end, but also I could see him flex out as kind of your traditional X receiver on the line of scrimmage too.
Steve, last one before we let you go. Nebraska is also targeting an offensive lineman, a tackle, Jacob Hood from Georgia. Now, your colleague Greg Smith just let everybody know that he's going to announce at 3 p.m. Central Time today because of some edit issues to post to social media and things like that. Where should Nebraska feel and Nebraska fans feel in this one? I know there's a couple other programs that are still in the running. He didn't make it to Ole Miss for his official visit, he said. But it sounds like, according to your colleague Greg Smith, sounds like Nebraska, Louisville, Kentucky, Ole Miss, UCLA, Ohio State, and Pittsburgh are all in the running for Jacob Hood, a 6'8", 350-pound offensive lineman from Georgia. Where does Nebraska kind of sit in your eyes on his list?
Yeah, first of all, let me get that Arlington Martin receiver's name correct. It's Jeremiah Charles.
There it is.
Could be a
Perfect.
Husker commit for the 2023 class. So I'm sorry, Jeremiah Charles, for butchering that name. But anyway, Jacob Hood. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling really good about it. I think he really enjoyed his visit this past weekend, and he's a giant of a human, 6'8", 350 pounds. I don't know if Nebraska's staff will want him at 350 pounds, but we will see if he even comes here. But yeah, I think it's telling that in 2023 we have to hold off on the commitment because of an edit issue.
Yeah,
that kind of made me laugh. But I think Nebraska is sitting very, very well with Jacob Hood.
How valuable is that? I mean, Nebraska lost out on Walter Rouse and Micah Mazuka, and I think it was to nobody's surprise that they then went right back to the portal. I mean, and especially offensive linemen we've seen throughout the years in the transfer portal, highly sought after. I mean, you have to be early on them to get their services at the end of the day. How valuable and how important is this if Jacob Hood decides to come to Nebraska?
Yeah, so I think it's important, but for this reason, I view this more as I know that there's going to be some maybe comparisons between Walter Rouse and Jacob Hood, but I don't think that needs to happen. I don't think that is maybe correct, because Jacob Rouse is a highly touted plug-and-play, instant impact left tackle that everybody wants. Everybody wants. Jacob Hood, I think, is different. He only spent one season at Georgia. He hasn't played a snap of college football. Is his body ready right now to be able to step into Nebraska's campus at 6'8", 350 and be an instant impact contributor in 2023? I'm going to go out on the record and say I don't think so. I think this kid is going to need at least one season of development and coaching and strength and conditioning before he steps into the program and is a contributor. Now, it's not. I don't mean it to say that I don't think this kid's any good. I think he's very good. He's a 4-star prospect in the 2022 class. He had a lot of great offers. He picked Georgia instead of he picked Georgia over Auburn and Miami in his final 3. So he has a lot of potential. There's a lot to like there as an offensive tackle at 6'8", 350 pounds. Guys like that, I mean, it's just hard to get around, right? But as everybody knows, in the Big Ten, these edge rushers that are getting after quarterbacks, they are fast, they are violent. You need to have solid footwork if you're to be a starting left or right tackle to be able to stay in front of these dudes. So do I think Jacob Hood is a talented dude? Yes, I do. I see him, if he does end up picking the Huskers, I see him as kind of a project down the road in a season or two, as kind of like an anchor on the edge of the offensive line. That's a little bit of a developmental piece that might take a season of development before he can step onto the field and be a contributor here.
Gotcha. Steve, appreciate the time as always. We'll go ahead and let you go. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and then we'll see you on Wednesday night at the Husker basketball game.
For sure. Thanks for having me, guys.
That is Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska, the rival site. Feels good about Jacob Hood. Feels good about Jeremiah Charles from Arlington Martin High School as well. So
I like
Nebraska,
that he feels good about these.
Nebraska is still looking to add a couple bodies, whether they're developmental pieces or instant impact players. Still looking to add some for the 2023 classes. They got Ishmael Smith Flores, a 6'6", 210-pound, listed as a tight end some places, listed as a wide receiver at other places. So we'll kind of see how it looks like where Nebraska wants to.
He's
plug
listed
him in.
as a tight end. All of his huddle videos have him not a tight end.
Yeah, and then also Jason Machichak. I mean, moving to the starting out on the defensive side rather than the offensive side.
We'll
so
see if he stays there.
See if he stays there, and we'll see how Nebraska coaches feel about their offensive line after the spring ball. I think that's going to be a telling sign as well, because then we'll have another rush of portal players leaving and coming for Husker football. When we come back, we break down the NFL weekend, and then we also will kind of touch on the Emmanuel Bandamel injury once again with Eric Strickland, the Husker Hall of Famer, as we get you guys ready for On the Block with Strick and Austin coming up next on the Crossover. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers you needs you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers, exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Your home should not be a unwelcomed animal. Let the rats serve the problem. Has been a leader in wild pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. It can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call to 402-310-0904 or visit batsrats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Working continent isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11, which grows $27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. Learn more to apply to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues. Your business, including mineral flow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service workers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and I'm back with Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, you said to me earlier you have a lot going on at the dealership. Can you tell our listeners about it?
Sure can, Charlie. As I've said before, if you don't see a vehicle on our lot that you're looking for, it's probably on its way soon.
So, how many new Hondas do you have in stock or on the way?
We have a total of over 325, Charlie, with a great selection of Pilots and Ridgelines in stock right now.
Well, we have been talking about the Honda way of buying cars for several months. How is that going?
People love it. We're buying all makes and models, whether they purchase the car from us or not. I mean, really, it's a no-hassle. We will pay them cash on the same day.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Weird, too quiet, calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bree's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Alan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, wanting to say Happy New Year and thank you to all of you for your continued support. We have just closed out another outstanding year, and we want to start 2020 with bang. The new GMC and Chevrolet inventory continues to roll in, and I'll actually be picking up my 2023 GMC later this month. So with interest rates continuing to climb, Copple is partnering with General Motors and now offering 2.9% APR on select models. So we invite you to the dealership. Check us out online at copplecars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Oh, God. Ow.
Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Patchy areas of fog this morning, then a mix of sun and clouds this afternoon as we'll see a high of around 35. Winds out of the west-northwest at 10 to 15. Patchy areas of fog again tonight, a low down to 22. We'll see partly cloudy skies tomorrow with a high of around 33. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainer.
Heaven, tell me there's a God.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the happy hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick, Rico, Strick, Austin, all hanging out with you guys. What's up, gents?
Yay, yay.
How we doing?
In my Ice Cube voice.
Yeah. What you drinking there, Strick?
What you got?
You ready? Are you ready?
What is it?
How many
White
ingredients?
chocolate mocha.
Yes!
Unbelievable.
I love it.
And he's red as a freaking
Well, I'm
rose
laughing
over here.
because I'm laughing.
Anyway,
Hey,
this group
hey,
here,
hey,
I
Austin.
don't even know
Hey,
how
Austin.
you guys
Hey.
live.
Hey,
I know. Why do you guys come on the happy hour? This crew is the worst.
What are you talking about? We're the best.
What are you talking about? Numbers would say otherwise.
Yeah, people love us.
Oh, man. All right. We bring him in
All right.
for the crossover.
The comedy hour is over.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
come on.
Chase, for acknowledging the new open that or the new rejoin.
Yeah,
that I
Rico
made.
worked hard on the open there, or the rejoin there, and nobody talked about it. So
We were laughing
He was-
too much. Nobody realized it.
anyway, Stricky.
He
What's
made
up?
me in his image.
So
Great weekend. Happy
it,
Monday.
it was a great weekend.
What's up?
It was a great weekend. But today announced Emmanuel Bandamel out.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this? I mean, Nebraska, they were already hurting. I mean, then you lose Juwan Gary, and now you lose Emmanuel Bandamel, and things become extremely thin.
Yeah.
And you're relying a lot more on Denon Dawson and Jamarcus Lawrence than you already were before Emmanuel Bandamel gets out. I mean, what's next for Nebraska here?
Well, and then you lose your backup option early in Q with his knee situation. You were able to become veteran laden out of the transfer portal, and they were significant pieces to the transformation of your culture. Now you lose one staunch piece of that in your toughness out of Gary. Your defensive identity guy in Bandamel you lose, and now you're thin in numbers.
Yeah.
And so the good thing of it, the positive of it is getting young guys that probably wouldn't have had the opportunities to get that type of time are now getting seasoned, but you're losing in the opportunity to put yourself in a position to possibly have postseason play, because what they do, what their skill set is, doesn't necessarily fit what you were building on. Defensively, it does, but your scoring prowess is truly limited now, because now this is why I was talking about weeks ago about you're going to have to run for easier opportunities. In a half court set, they're going to struggle just because they don't have that. Breidenbach is not really there. You don't have Blaze Keita for any block.
Are you talking half court defensively or
Offensively.
offensively? Okay, yeah, offensively.
Defensively, they're going to be
yeah,
fine.
okay, yeah.
They're still going to be able
they're
to
still
do
gonna
it.
be just fine.
But they're struggle to score points.
Well,
that's why you have to run.
Yeah,
and you're going to have to get teams in a situation where they're not setting their defense against you, because if they do, you're going to struggle.
0 fast break points against Penn State.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
exactly.
That's terrible. You can't do that.
They had multiple opportunities. It just, one person. It
And
was a
you're
lot of
shooting under 30%.
It was a lot of where you
Yeah.
had like a 2-on-2 and one person's driving to the hoop. You got somebody, sliding out to a wing or something, and the person with the ball just doesn't really look up. They're going head of steam, going for the rim, and then they decide, you know what, I'm not doing that, and then they back out and they reset the offense.
That's what I'm talking about.
Which it's that, and then when you
there's not going to be an easier opportunity
Yes.
than drive and that kick for that open shot,
and
because that's going to be probably even a less challenged shot than the one you're going to get.
And the
well
problem
down the road.
with another problem with that is when you're running, and if you do believe that you can get to the rim, if you miss that, if you get fouled, Nick was talking
Missing
about it.
free throws.
Those free shots, the 300.
Nebraska's 335th in the country out of 352 teams.
Horrible.
I think that's an
63
improvement from last year.
63 season's not over yet, Austin. Season's not over yet.
Shut up, Austin.
Yeah, exactly. Minnesota is last, 302nd in the country, making 58% of their free throws. But anyway, one thing that we continue to talk about, this team, Nebraska, doesn't have a guy that, like, you think about years past, Isaac Copeland, Siobhan Shields, James Palmer here. You could even throw Teran Petaway.
He's sticky.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. No, Stricky, where it's like if you hand them the ball 10 seconds to go on the shot on the possession, they're going to find at least something. They're going to find something. Yeah. They unfortunately don't have that this year.
Exactly.
And so that's what makes those fast break opportunities even more important.
Now they did well because I think it was early in the first half. It was like 10-0 points in the paint.
Yeah.
Great. Those are good. That's good stuff from Greasel, and you get that from Walker. That is an advantage.
Well, and you also lost a big chunk of it because Juwan Gary, his strength was not perimeter shooting. It was a slasher. Yeah. I mean, he's that guy that you create in NBA 2K that's slasher and you dunk the ball every single time.
I'm a dunk on you.
Yeah, exactly. But he's a good defender as well. That was his game. So you lost a big piece of that. Now you lose a primary ball handler, although it was questionable at times, a primary ball handler, a guy that you put the basketball in quite often in his hands, in Emmanuel Bandamel, and now your options are really getting depleted, and you need some younger guys to step up. So,
yeah,
I mean, the outlook for the future, I mean, if you want to, we can transition to that discussion here in the next minute that we have. I mean, the outlook for the future is if Fred Hoiberg is able to be retained next year, you have two guys in Denon Dawson and Jamarcus Lawrence who now through the backstretch of the season will have significant playing time.
Yeah, and I don't think he should be penalized because listen, I will forever say, Austin, my partner, and he's heard me say this. I will forever say that this team has basically changed their culture in one season.
Yeah, that's big.
That's huge. Now they just got to find that middle ground real quick. 77th in pace of play, top dang 10 in the nation. Find some middle ground.
Stability throughout multiple seasons is something Nebraska's lacking on. But who knows? This season, despite 10-10 overall, the start of building somewhat of a foundation here in Lincoln. That'll do it for us today. Stick around on the block with Strick and Austin coming up next. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.
Adios.
Hi, Sean.